Chapter 3546. Attending the banquet, the servants in the canteen wanted to ask for cutlery, but they were afraid of Tower Master Luochen, so they could only watch He Xingjiu swagger out of the canteen. Tower Master Luochen naturally saw He Xingjiu's behavior, and a fleeting smile flashed across his eyes. It was great. As long as little Jiu was by his side, his heart would feel warm. Just as he left the cafeteria, he met Elder Zhuge. Tower Master, Sect Leader Jima has prepared a banquet. I hope you can attend it. Elder Zhuge said politely. Tower Master Luochen didn't refuse and nodded in agreement. The two of them exchanged some pleasantries before Elder Zhuge left. He Xingjiu didn't take it to heart. This banquet had nothing to do with her. After accompanying him for a while, she could return to the dormitory. Unexpectedly, when He Xingjiu was about to suggest leaving in the evening, Tower Master Luochen said, "You should also attend the banquet. I can ask you if there's anything I don't understand." He Xingjiu really wanted to yell at him. She had just arrived, alright? She did not know what he did not understand, alright? However, He Xingjiu knew that even if she refused, Elder Zhuge would still take her away even if he tied her up, so she could only nod and agree. Xing Ye's face darkened, but when she thought of Tower Master Luchen's arrangement, she could only suppress the jealousy in her heart and glared at Yun Chujiu fiercely. He Xingjiu was feeling aggrieved. When she saw Xingyu glaring at her, she immediately pretended to be puzzled and said, "Sister Xingyu, why are you glaring at me? Don't you want me to attend the dinner party?" Xing Ye's face stiffened and she said through gritted teeth, "You are mistaken. This is the order of the Pavilion Master. I have no objections. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site." Thanks. He Xingjiu blinked her eyes and replied with an OH. Then she did not say anything. Xingyu felt that she could not vent her anger. She wished that she could kill He Xingjiu to vent her anger. He Xingjiu could not be bothered with her. She brought a group of people to the meeting hall. Although Chaotian sect had a special place for holding banquets, in order to make it more prestigious, the banquet was still held in the meeting hall. Just like the last time, the main seat was suspended in the air. Tower Master Luochen sat on the upper right, and the Jima sect master sat on the upper left, followed by the brains of Chaotian sect. However, unlike the first meeting, there were some young and beautiful female disciples in the meeting hall this time. All of them had obviously dressed up meticulously, and their gazes were vaguely directed at Tower Master Luochen. He Xingjiu couldn't help but twitch her lips. Was this Jima sect master planning to change his job to matchmaker? The Jima sect master said a few polite words, and then gestured for someone to serve the dishes. On such an occasion, He Xingjiu naturally didn't have the qualifications to sit. This fellow and Xingyu stood behind Tower Master Luochen, helping him pour wine or cloth dishes. Of course, Xingyu definitely wouldn't let He Xingjiu do these things, so He Xingjiu was just a decoration, standing there to watch the show. This guy was very curious. Since the Jima sect leader had taken those beautiful female disciples, he naturally had a plan, but he didn't know how to pimp, or no matchmaker. After drinking a few rounds of wine, the Jima sect leader smiled and said, "Pavilion Master, as you can see, there are quite a few female disciples of our sect in the main hall today. These female disciples are not bad in terms of looks, aptitude, and family background. They also admire Pavilion Master and want to offer some talents. Please appraise them, Pavilion Master." Chapter 3547 was just SOSO. He Xingjiu couldn't help but give the Jima sect leader a thumbs up in her heart. This old man was really smooth when it came to handling matters. He was clearly a pimp, and a pimp, yet he said it was a performance. Tower Master Luochen nodded lightly, but he didn't object. Those female disciples were instantly overjoyed. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If they could be chosen by Tower Master Luochen, even if they couldn't marry him as his wife, even if they were concubines, it would still be good. Thus, they all tried their best. Some were playing the zither, some were dancing the sword, and some were singing. It was simply a dazzling sight. Just as He Xingjiu was enjoying it, the voice transmission talisman in her storage ring started to vibrate. He Xingjiu took it out under her sleeve to take a look. It was from D. Biming. This guy curled his lips. Gigolo, he finally couldn't hold it in anymore, right? This guy thought that Di Biming was asking about the increase in her appetite yesterday. He didn't expect that Di Biming's cold voice could be heard after he sent his spiritual sense in. It's good that you're alive. You don't have to go back. Hey Shinjio, this guy was immediately enraged. He blinked his eyes and said with a carefree smile, not only am I alive, but am also living quite comfortably. I have food and drink, and there are people dancing with swords and playing the zither. It's so wonderful. On the other side, a certain venerable could not help but frown when he heard Hei Xinjius reply. There was food and drink? Playing the sword and zither? He immediately recalled the scene in his memory where the little rascal and Lan Luochen were chatting and laughing while drinking tea. Could it be that Lan Luochen was playing the sword and zither for the little rascal at this moment? After the certain venerable imagined the scene, he suddenly felt that he was in a bad mood. What no desires, no calm, no waves, everything was a ghost. It was as if there was a fire burning in his chest, followed by intense pain in his limbs and bones. He gritted his teeth and could only sit down cross-legged, once again sealing the 7 emotions and 6 desires that were almost unsealed. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks. After a long time, a certain being opened his eyes, his gaze as cold as ice. However, when he thought of the scene that he imagined earlier, his face still darkened. Someone actually dared to covet my woman. He was really courting death. Yes, it was precisely because of this reason that he was angry. It was not because of jealousy or anything like that. Yes, that was it. He took out the voice transmission talisman, but he did not know what to say. In the end, he said coldly, "Stay away from him." At this time, the banquet was already nearing its end. Hei Shinjio was still enjoying it at the beginning. Ever since she received Di Biming's voice transmission talisman, her interest had waned. Feeling the vibration of the voice transmission talisman, she sent her spiritual sense in and heard Di Biming's voice. She pouted. She wanted to stay away from Lan Luochen, but she couldn't help it now. So, this guy replied in a bad mood, "If you don't come to save me, how can I stay away from him?" Wait. The flowers that I've been waiting for are all gone. When will you arrive? Tomorrow. Hei Xinjia's lips curled up when she heard that Di Biming would arrive tomorrow. She really didn't want to stay in Chao Tian sect for a moment. It was still her female emperor of magnificence who was at ease and awe-inspiring. She didn't want to be at the beck and call of others here. However, when she thought of the strength of Chao Tian sect and Lan Luochen, she asked worriedly, "Be careful. The people here are not simple. I'll describe the terrain map to you tonight." A moment later, a faint voice came from the sound transmission talisman. "Them? They are just ordinary people." Chapter 3548. Don't go back tonight. Hei Shinjio curled her lips. Although the gigolo was quite powerful and he might be able to fight one-on-one, there were so many people here. No matter how powerful he was no match for him. However, this guy knew that he could not hurt his man's pride, so he said with a smile, "Prince Charming, I knew you were the most powerful. I'll wait for you. Come, give me a kiss." Soon, the sound transmission talisman vibrated, and Di Biming's cold voice came from it. Nonsense. Yun Chujio curled her lips. Although it was only 4 words, she still heard a hint of arrogance. This guy curled his lips. There was nothing she could do. She liked the arrogance of a gigolo. He was like an angry kitten. He looked powerful, but in fact, he was obedient when she touched his fur. Tower Master Luchen saw Hei Xinjia's small movements from the corner of his eyes. Seeing her sudden joy and anger, his eyes immediately darkened, and the wine glass in his hand instantly shattered into powder. Everyone looked at him. The female disciple who was playing the zither was so scared that she almost knelt on the ground. Was it because she played too poorly? Tower Master Luochen tightened his hands under his sleeves and said indifferently, "I'm sorry. I was absorbed in listening and used too much strength." The female disciple's mood instantly rose to heaven. She blushed and nodded to Tower Master Luochen before continuing to play. Finally, the banquet ended. Just when Hei Shinjio was about to go back to her courtyard, Tower Master Luochen said coldly, "Don't go back tonight. Just stay in the guest house. Hei Xinjiu was dumbfounded. What? Let her stay in the guest courtyard at night? What did Lan Luochen mean? Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks. Xingyu panicked and said hurriedly, Tower Master, the rooms in the guest courtyard are all full. Let her return to her own courtyard. Xingye's words stopped abruptly because she was so shocked by the gloomy aura of Tower Master Luochen that she was covered in cold sweat. She couldn't even speak. Yun Chujio narrowed her eyes. Several plans flashed through her mind quickly, but there seemed to be no other way except to agree. So, she nodded. Thank you, Tower Master Luochen. Seeing that she agreed, Tower Master Luochen's expression eased up a little. He lifted his leg and walked toward the guest courtyard. Xingyu couldn't care less about the cold sweat on her head. She gave Yun Chujio a warning glance, her eyes like a poisonous snake. Yun Chujio sneered in her heart. Damn it, why are you staring at me? I don't want to go. She didn't want to have too much to do with Lan Luochen in the first place, and now she didn't want to have any ties with him. Because she inexplicably felt that although the current Tower Master Luochen was Lan Luochen, the original Lan Luochen was only a little depressed, but now he was simply gloomy, and even a little paranoid. Even though Hei Xinjiu was unwilling, she still came to the guest house. Outside the guest house, there were still 3 layers of guards. Seeing these guards, Hei Xinjiu's heart jumped. Could it be that Lan Luochen knew that the pretty boy was coming to save her, so he let her stay in the guest house? Because the guest house was heavily guarded, the pretty boy could not succeed? Everyone entered the living room. After Tower Master Luochen took a seat, he resumed his usual expression and said coldly, Xingyu, move to Tao Shue's room and vacate your room for her. Xingyu couldn't believe her ears. The other maids were all living in a room of 4 people. She had always lived alone, but now she was asked to vacate her room for Lin Chuchu. Chapter 3549 was beaten into a pig's head. Xingyu almost squeezed out a word from between her teeth, yes. Tower Master Luochen looked at Hei Xinjiu again and said indifferently, you can stay here for the next few days. If you need anything, just look for Xingyu. Although Hei Xinjiu was unwilling, she had no choice but to agree. She originally thought that Tower Master Luochen would instruct her on other things. Unexpectedly, he waved his hand, indicating that everyone could leave. Hei Xinjiu couldn't wait to leave, so she followed Xingyu to a side room next to the main room. After entering the room, Xingye's face suddenly turned ferocious. Bitch, you'd better recognize your own identity, or you won't know how you died. Yun Chujio had been swallowing her anger for the past few days, and she was forced to live here today. She was already very annoyed, but now that Xingyu was jumping around in front of her, her eyes suddenly turned dark. She stared at Xingyu coldly and said, either kneel down and apologize, or I'll beat you until you kneel down and apologize. Choose one. Xingyu couldn't believe what she had heard. This trash of Chaotian sect actually dared to threaten her? Was she out of her mind? Bitch, say it again. Yun Chujio didn't want to waste her breath. She knew that her spiritual power was not as high as Xingye's, so she had Xiao Hanio curse her. While Xingyu was staggering, Xiao Hanio jumped forward and first restrained her spiritual power, then gave her a good beating. When the maids outside heard the woman scream from inside the room, they subconsciously thought that Xingyu was dealing with Yun Chujio, so they pretended not to hear it. When Tower Master Luochen heard the scream, he immediately stood up, but he sat back down. A smile flashed in his eyes. It was indeed the little Jiu that he was familiar with. She was never willing to suffer any losses. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks. It was not until 15 minutes later, when the handmaidens realized that something was wrong with the voice, that they pushed open the door and barged in. They saw that Xingye's face was swollen like a pig's head. She was kneeling on the ground in a very sorry state. Lin Chuchu sat upright on the chair with a smile. When he saw everyone come in, he sighed and said, Sigh. Sister Xingyu insisted on apologizing to me just now. She slapped herself. I couldn't stop her. Now, she's even kneeling down for me. Hurry up and help her up. I feel really bad. The handmaidens were all dumbfounded. They naturally didn't believe Yun Chujio's nonsense. Other things aside, there were many footprints on Xingye's clothes. Could it be that she was the one who kicked her? This Lin Chuchu was too bold. Although this Xing Yu was a handmaiden, she wasn't an ordinary handmaiden. This Lin Chuchu's life was probably in danger. Xing Yu saw that everyone was in a daze and no one came to help her. She said angrily, "Are you dead? Hurry up and help me up. Take this bitch down, I will tear her into pieces today." The maids finally came back to their senses and quickly went forward to release Xing Ye's spiritual power. A few maids approached Yun Chujio and were ready to take her down. Right at this moment, Tower Master Luchen's voice came from the door. "What's going on?" Xing Yu immediately cried out, "Tower Master, you have to give this servant justice. This Lin Chuchu beat this servant to such a state for no reason. She is challenging the dignity of the 9 pavilions." Tower Master Luochen looked at Xing Ye's beaten face and frowned, but a trace of a smile flashed across his eyes. The beating was really fierce. He had wanted to do this for a long time. Chapter 3550, She was trying to make herself suffer. "Lin Chuchu, what do you have to say?" Tower Master Luochen asked coldly. Hei Xinjiu blinked her eyes and said, "Sister Xing Ye's face was made like this by herself. Besides, my spiritual power is only at the first level of the spirit transformation realm. How can I defeat Sister Xing Yu?" The maids looked at Xing Yu suspiciously when they heard Yun Chujia's words. Yes, Xing Ye's spiritual power was at the 8th level of the spirit connection realm. It was more than 10 levels higher than Lin Chuchi's. How could she be beaten like this? Could there really be something hidden? Xing Yu pointed at Yun Chujio and said angrily, "You're talking nonsense. At that time, I accidentally stumbled, so I was tricked by you. Tower Master, look at these shoe prints on my body. They were all kicked by that Lin Chujio. If you don't believe me, you can compare them with her boots." Everyone's gaze fell on the shoe prints on Xing Ye's clothes, and they immediately felt that Xing Ye's words made sense. Tower Master Luochen frowned, afraid that little Jiu wouldn't be able to escape this time. "I admit that I was the one who kicked those shoe prints, but I was also very helpless. I saw Sister Xing Yu beat herself into a pig's head, and even knelt on the ground to kowtow to me to apologize. I thought that she was crazy, so I restrained her spiritual power and kicked her a few times, hoping to wake her up a little." Yun Chujio spread out her hands, indicating that she was really innocent. Xing Yu almost died of anger. If not for Tower Master Luochen standing by the side, she would definitely have killed Hei Xinjiu. "Tower Master, she is simply spouting nonsense. Why would I go crazy out of the blue? I gave the room to her out of kindness, but she repaid my kindness with enmity and beat me into this state. You must help me," Xing Yu cried. Before Tower Master Luochen could say anything, Hei Xinjiu clapped her hands and said, "I know. No wonder Sister Xing Yu wanted to put on such an act. It turns out that it's all because of this room. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks, you must be unhappy because I stayed in your room. However, you didn't dare to disobey Tower Master's order, so you came up with a bitter trick. You injured yourself and then framed me for it, but I stubbornly kicked you a few times, which confirmed this matter. Sister Xing Yu is really good at scheming." Hearing Hei Xinjia's words, the maids immediately believed her. Xing Yu was usually arrogant and domineering, so she was naturally unwilling to give the room to this Lin Chuchu. Therefore, in order to take revenge on this Lin Chuchu, she used this cruel trick. She really put in a lot of money. Xing Yu saw everyone's gazes and was so angry that she almost vomited blood. Just as she was about to defend herself, Tower Master Luochen said with some displeasure, "Forget it, today's matter ends here. No one is to mention this matter anymore. Disperse." Xing Yu simply could not believe what she had heard. Was this matter just let go? Did this mean that Tower Master believed Lin Chuchi's words? She wanted to defend herself, but when she saw the gloomy expression on Tower Master Luchen's face, she immediately swallowed her words. She looked at Yun Chujio with a cold gaze before she was supported by the other handmaidens and left. After the handmaidens left, Tower Master Luochen did not leave. Instead, he closed the door behind him and looked at Hei Xinjiu with a burning gaze. Hei Xinjiu's heart was beating fast. What was Lan Luochen trying to do? She followed the principle of the enemy not moving and not moving. She did not move or speak. She thought that Tower Master Luochen would say or do something. She did not expect that Tower Master Luochen would only stare at her with an obscure gaze for a long time before he pushed the door open and left. Chapter 3551. Pretty boy is my little cutie. Hei Shinjio finally let out a sigh of relief when she saw Tower Master Luochen leave. Oh my god! I was scared to death. How did this Lan Luochen turn into a psychopath? The little black bird in the spirit beast bag said slyly, Master, isn't the pretty boy also a psychopath? Why aren't you afraid of him? Hei Shinjio raised her eyebrows. Can Lan Luochen compare to the pretty boy? No matter how crazy the pretty boy is, he won't hurt me. This Lan Luochen is gloomy. I always feel that he is in danger. Besides, a gigolo is my little cutie. I like him no matter how crazy he is. Xiao Hanio almost vomited. His master was also developing into a crazy person. At the mention of de-biming, Hei Shinjio frowned. She took out a voice transmission talisman and said, Lan Luochen has brought me to the guest house. There are many guards here. Why don't you wait for me near the female toilet next to the North Peaks Spirit Beast Garden tomorrow, and then we can sneak out. Soon, a voice that sounded like someone was gnashing his teeth came from the voice transmission talisman. I have my own plans. Just you wait. Hei Shinjio did not have any hope of de-biming's meeting. After all, it was embarrassing to have such a pretentious person hiding near the female toilet, not to mention a crazy person who was obsessed with cleanliness. Just as Hei Shinjio was about to put away the voice transmission talisman vibrated again. The guy wondered if the pretty boy had changed his mind. After she sent her spiritual sense in, de-biming's cold voice was heard, Don't sleep tonight. Cultivate. Hei Shinjio, was he crazy? Why didn't he sleep at night and cultivate? Hei Shinjio ignored the crazy guy and closed her eyes to sleep. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks. However, every hour, a certain guy would send her a voice transmission talisman with the same content. Get up and cultivate. Hei Shinjio was so angry that she almost crushed the voice transmission rune into pieces. She shouted at the rune, Pretty boy, are you crazy? I want to sleep. Shut up. However, it was useless. The voice transmission rune still started to vibrate on time. In the end, Hei Shinjio had no choice but to get up and cultivate. She hated the certain someone and prepared more than 100 kinds of torture to punish him. After the sun came out, the voice transmission rune disappeared without a trace. Hei Shinjio gnashed her teeth in anger. Although it was not a problem for cultivators not to sleep for a few days, this guy had always been eating, drinking, and sleeping well. He was extremely unhappy that he did not sleep at all. At this moment, Xing Ye's gnashing voice came from the door. Lin Chu-Chu, the pavilion master wants you to help him wash up. Come out now. Killing intent flashed in Hei Xinjia's eyes. Get lost. They'll kill you if you keep shouting. Xing Yu, the other handmaidens, has this Lin Chu-Chu gone mad? Xing Yu came back to her senses and sneered. She didn't knock on the door anymore. Instead, she went to Tower Master Luchen's bedroom and said respectfully, Tower Master, I went to pass down your order just now, but that Lin Chu-Chu told me to get lost. What do you think? Come in and help me wash up. Tower Master Luchen's cold voice came from inside. Xing Ye's slightly swollen face suddenly revealed a smug look. That Lin Chu-Chu was really courting death. She would have a good time. After Xing Yu went in, she saw Tower Master Luochen sitting by the bed in his undergarments. Her heart couldn't help but beat violently. Even if she could see Tower Master every day, she would still be amazed by Tower Master's stunning appearance. Chapter 3552 was indeed hidden in Chaotian sect just as Xing Yu was in a daze. Tower Master Luochen said indifferently, You've been wronged yesterday. She's still useful, so we can't touch her for the time being. Well, take action today. Xing Ye's face blushed when she heard this. The Tower Master actually knew that she was wronged? And he even comforted her? Xing Yu suddenly felt that the beating last night was worth it. As for Lin Chu-Chu, The pavilion master said that he couldn't touch her for the time being. Did that mean that he could teach her a lesson in the future? Xingyu happily helped Tower Master Luochen wash up. He Xingjiu only strolled in after breakfast. Xingyu snorted, "You are so arrogant. I called you to serve the pavilion master this morning. Why didn't you come?" Yun Chujio looked innocent and confused. "Sister Xingyu, did you call me this morning? I didn't hear you. I sleep like a log. If you call me next time, you must call me more often." Xingyu pursed her lips and thought of what Tower Master Luochen had said before. She was too lazy to argue with Yun Chujio. They left the guest house. Although He Xingjiu was still dutifully introducing the scenery, she was a little worried. She didn't know what the pretty boy would think of to save her, so she was worried. A day passed by slowly. He Xingjiu had been absent-minded. Fortunately, Tower Master Luochen didn't talk much today, so the day's journey ended smoothly. Just as He Xingjiu was about to find an excuse not to go to the guest house, Tower Master Luochen said, "You'd better go back to your own courtyard today and come over early tomorrow." He Xingjiu was both surprised and happy. Lan Luochen, this crazy person, had finally become normal? This fellow hurriedly agreed and then skipped away. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks. Xingyu looked at Yun Chujia's back and sneered in her heart. You won't be able to laugh very soon. He Xingjiu skipped back to the dormitory and immediately told Di Baiming the news, telling him to go according to the original plan. Di Baiming quickly replied with an N, and did not say anything else. He Xingjiu had a simple dinner and was very happy in her heart. She was finally going to leave this damn place. This was great. On the other side, after Tower Master Luochen and Xingyu entered the guest house, Xingyu followed Tower Master Luochen into the study room. In the study room stood Tower Master Luochen. Tower Master Luochen, who came in with Xingyu, took off a mask from his face, changed into a set of guard's clothes, and left. Did everything go smoothly today? Tower Master Luochen asked coldly. Tower Master, everything went smoothly. No one found any flaws. Did you get that thing? Xingyu couldn't hide her excitement. Tower Master Luochen nodded, and a jet black bead appeared in his hand. There was a hint of joy in his tone. This thing is indeed hidden in Chaoyan sect. We didn't come for nothing this time. Xingyu looked at Tower Master Luochen with admiration. Tower Master, you are so wise. The people of Chaotian sect all saw Lin Chuchu accompanying you around. Even if they found this thing missing in the future, they wouldn't suspect you. Hearing Xingyu mention Lin Chuchu, Tower Master Luochen's eyes darkened. He said lightly, not only that, if I'm not wrong, Lin Chuchu will soon be rescued and left Chaotian sect. At that time, even if the incident is exposed, Chaotian sect will only suspect Lin Chuchu and the person who rescued her. Chapter 3553 flew away when Xingyu heard Tower Master Luochen's words. She immediately threw the grievances of the past few days to the back of her mind. At first, she thought that the Tower Master had some feelings for Lin Chuchu, but she didn't expect that not only did the Tower Master use her as a cover, but he was also planning to frame her. She had really misunderstood the Tower Master. The Tower Master is indeed clever. However, Chaotian sect is heavily guarded. Can the person you mentioned save Lin Chuchu? Xingyu asked uncertainly. Previously, she really thought that Lin Chuchu was a member of Chaotian sect. It wasn't until the pavilion master asked her to find someone to investigate that she realized that many people had never seen this Lin Chuchu before. They were brought back by someone who had gone out for the trial by accident. However, the pavilion master was afraid that Chaotian sect would be embarrassed, so he didn't expose it. It was a good opportunity to use her to deceive the world. Tower Master Luochen's eyes revealed some mockery as he said coldly, "Wouldn't it be better if we can't save her?" Xingyu was stunned at first, then she smiled and said, Tower Master is right. If that person can't save Lin Chuchu, then we'll think of a way to kill them. Then we won't be able to prove it. Tower Master Luochen nodded, his eyes flashing with a dark and obscure look. He didn't want to put Yun Chujio in danger, but in order to clear all the obstacles, he had to do this. He had enough confidence to ensure her safety. Moreover, this way, Xingyu would not suspect his intentions toward Yun Chujio, so that the people behind Xing Yu would not find trouble with Yun Chujio. While Tower Master Luochen was thinking, the black bead in his hand flew out of his palm. It was extremely fast, and in the blink of an eye, it had broken through the window. Tower Master Luochen and Xing Yu were stunned when they saw the hole made by the bead on the window. Then, they turned pale with fright. Tower Master Luochen opened the door and flew out without saying anything. He thought that the bead had flown far away, but he didn't expect that the bead was wandering around the courtyard and even in the side room. Seeing Tower Master Luochen coming out of the house, the bead flew out of the courtyard with a whoosh. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks. Tower Master Luochen subconsciously ordered the guards outside, "Catch that bead. Don't let it run away." As soon as he said that, he knew that something was wrong. If they mobilized a large force to catch that bead, wouldn't it be a confession? The people of Chao Tian sect weren't fools, and it wouldn't be easy to end things by then. But it was already too late. The guards of 9 pavilions rode their swords to catch that bead. Even if he wanted to revoke the order, it was too late. Many people of Chao Tian sect must have seen this scene. Tower Master Luochen gritted his teeth. This opportunity was going to be wasted. The most important thing now was to clear his name. As for the bead, he would come and get it in the future. Tower Master Luochen thought about it as he chased. He finally thought of a plausible reason. After all, he had the evidence of his alibi. The Chao Tian sect disciples should believe him. At this moment, Chao Tian sect was in an uproar. The disciples of Chao Tian sect naturally saw the people of 9 pavilions chasing after a bead with great fanfare, and the news quickly reached the ears of the Jima sect master and the others. The Jima sect master, the North and South Peak masters, and several elders immediately panicked. A black bead? Could it be the bead sealed in the Forbidden Land? Why did it fly out of nowhere? There was no time to think. The Jima sect master first activated the sect guarding formation, and then everyone joined the team that was chasing after the bead. Because of the sect guarding formation, the black bead couldn't leave Chao Tian sect. This made the Jima sect master and the others feel a little relieved. Although the bead was slippery and hard to catch, as long as it didn't leave Chao Tian sect, they had a way to catch it. The bead was flying everywhere in Chao Tian sect. Since it was small, it could easily fit through any gap. In addition, it was already dark, so they couldn't catch it even after a long time. Tower Master Luochen nodded slightly when he saw the Jima sect master. Sect Master Jima, I found the bead in the courtyard just now. I felt that something was wrong, so I asked my men to help catch it. Please forgive me for trespassing. Tower Master, I should be the one thanking you. This bead is no small matter. We should work together to capture it and send it back to the forbidden area. Although Tower Master Luochen had some doubts in his heart, he thought that Tower Master Luochen had been visiting the North Peak during the day and had no time to enter the forbidden area, so the doubt in his heart was dispelled. Tower Master Luochen nodded, and a net-like object appeared in his palm. This is the spirit trapping net. Everyone work together to drive that bead into the ambush circle, and then I will use this spirit trapping net to catch it. Tower Master Luochen was overjoyed, and he quickly arranged for people to consciously drive the bead in the direction of Tower Master Luochen. After a long time of effort, the bead was finally driven to the vicinity of Tower Master Luochen. Tower Master Luochen threw the bead in his hand, and the spirit trapping net trapped it firmly inside. Tower Master Luochen put the spirit trapping net back into his hand and looked at the bead inside the spirit trapping net. Although he wished he could take it away, he could only say under the watchful eyes of everyone, Master Jima, since we have already trapped this bead, why don't we enter the forbidden area immediately to prevent it from escaping? Tower Master Jima was afraid that Tower Master Luochen would withdraw the spirit trapping net and the bead would escape again, so he hurriedly nodded and said, Okay, let's not delay. We will head to the forbidden area immediately. Thus, Tower Master Luochen held the bead that was trapped in the spirit trapping net in his hand and followed Tower Master Jima to the forbidden area. When everyone passed by the spirit beast garden, the originally peaceful bead suddenly glowed brightly. Tower Master Luochen was blinded by the dazzling light and closed his eyes. When he opened his eyes, the spirit net in his hand had already broken a big hole, and that bead had already disappeared. Everyone was instantly dumbfounded. The light just now was too dazzling. Everyone subconsciously closed their eyes in that instant, so no one knew what had happened just now. The Jima sect master jumped anxiously. Quick! Quickly find it. We must not let that bead enter the human world, or there will be a disaster. Everyone suddenly became busy. Some disciples even lay on the ground and searched carefully, but that bead was only the size of a longan, and the sky was dark. Where could they find it? The Jima sect master kept sighing. Elder Zhuge suddenly said, "Sect master, I remember that although the bead can hide its aura in the dark, it won't be able to hide its aura once the sun comes out. We can definitely find it by then." Upon hearing this, the Jima sect master's expression eased up a little. As long as the sect protecting formation was not removed, the bead would not be able to leave Chaotian sect. They would definitely be able to find it after daybreak. Thinking of this, the leader of the Jima sect sent people to continue searching for the bead, and politely told Tower Master Luochen to go back and rest. Only then did he summon the North and South Peak Masters and the elders to the meeting hall to discuss this matter. Everyone discussed and discussed. Someone said, "Leader, I think this matter has something to do with Tower Master Luochen. Otherwise, why would he suddenly come to our Chaoan sect?" And that bead flew out from his courtyard in the beginning. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Chapter 3555 Almost choked to death suddenly, someone chimed in. That's right. It said that Tower Master Luochen rarely goes to any sect, so there's no reason for him to stay in our Chaotian sect for a few days. No matter how I think about it, something doesn't feel right. However, there were also people who disagreed, for example, Elder Zhuge. Although Tower Master Luochen's visit this time was a little sudden, he has been touring the North Peak for the whole day. He didn't return to the guest house until sunset, so he didn't have time to enter the forbidden area. Moreover, if he stole the bead from the forbidden area, why did he help us catch the bead and put it into his storage ring? Hearing this, everyone felt that what Elder Zhuge said made sense. Not everyone could enter the forbidden area of Chaotian sect. Although Tower Master Luochen had brought many guards, those people didn't have the ability to enter the forbidden area. Seeing that both sides were in a deadlock, the untainted sect master could only say, "It's more important to find that bead first. As for whether Tower Master Luochen is related to this matter, we will discuss it later." Everyone nodded their heads in agreement. Then, they waited for the sun to rise. After finding that bead, they would send it back to the seal of the forbidden area. Chaotian sect was in a mess. A certain Jiao, who always liked to join in the fun, didn't come out to watch the fun. This fellow was afraid that Di Baiming would come to save her, so he didn't dare to leave the dormitory for even a moment. However, this fellow couldn't suppress his curiosity. He stood in the courtyard and looked around. He vaguely heard something about a bead, and his mouth twitched. This Chaotian sect could be considered a big business. Was there a need to make such a big fuss over a broken bead? Was he not planning to sleep? However, when this fellow heard that the sect protecting formation had been activated, he was instantly dumbfounded. Once the sect protecting formation was activated, how could the pretty boy come in? This guy immediately hated that stupid bead. If it hadn't caused trouble, she would have been able to leave Chaotian sect today. But now, with such a mess, she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to leave for a while. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks. He Xinjiao had no choice but to take out the sound transmission talisman and brag about the matter. She asked Di Baiming to find a place to stay for a few days and come back to save her when the time was right. Di Baiming was silent for a moment before he finally replied with a yes. He Xinjiao could vaguely hear that the noise had become quieter and yawned. Since she could not leave today, she would just go to sleep. She had not slept the whole night because of the gigolo. She had to catch up on her sleep today. This guy opened his mouth and was yawning. Suddenly, something jumped into her mouth and almost choked him to death. The guy rolled his eyes and was about to get the thing out of his throat when it slipped into his stomach. He Xinjiao was dumbfounded. The guy inexplicably felt that the thing that went into her stomach was some broken bead that the Chaotian sect people were looking for. The guy was afraid of getting into trouble, so he quickly went into the bedroom and began to look inside. This guy searched his body and even his dantian, but he didn't find that thing. It seemed to have suddenly disappeared. Hei Shinjio immediately panicked. That thing was the size of a longan. How could it disappear just like that? Where did it go? When Hei Shinjio was panicking, Guai Chao shook its leaves. Hei Shinjio widened her eyes. Go Weiba, did you eat that thing? Guai Chao immediately shook its leaves aggrievedly, and all the leaves pointed in one direction. Chapter 3556 is playing US for Fools. Hei Shinjio looked in the direction that Guai Chao was pointing at and was stunned. Guai Chao was actually pointing at the black bead. Back then, when the cheapskate grandfather gave the black bead to her, he had said that only the Yun family could make it recognize its master. At that time, it was quite incredible that she could make it recognize its master. It was not until she returned to the Yun family that she realized that she was really a member of the Yun family. Presumably, the distant ancestors of the Qing Shen continent and the Yun family of the Towering Sky continent should be a family. That was why she was able to make the black bead recognize her as its master. Speaking of which, the black bead did not have a strong sense of existence. Other than devouring the power of thunder and lightning, when Hei Shinjio fell into an illusion, it would use the pain to remind Hei Shinjio. Other than that, there was nothing unusual about it. Right, there was another point. The black bead had once devoured a lot of Hun-Dun energy in the forbidden area of the Palace of Immortals. Could it be that the thing that had entered her mouth was swallowed by the black bead? Go Weiba, do you mean that the thing was eaten by the black bead? The leaves of the Guai Chao shook, apparently confirming Yun Chujio's statement. Yun Chujio used her spiritual sense to look at the black bead carefully, but she did not find anything different. Forget it, let's eat it. After all, none of the things she raised were normal. She was already used to it. Moreover, something that could make the Chaotian sect mobilize so many people was definitely a good thing. If it was swallowed by the black bead, it would indirectly belong to her. This round of operation was not a loss at all. Hei Shinjio was really magnanimous. After such an earth-shaking event had happened, this fellow had thrown it to the back of her mind and was lying on the bed sound asleep. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks. The next morning, after Hei Shinjio finished her breakfast, she left the dormitory and hopped toward the guest house. Along the way, she met countless Chaotian sect disciples who were searching for the bead on the branches of the bushes. She was secretly happy. Take your time. Even if you find the Elder of Eternity, you won't be able to find the bead. When she reached the entrance of the guest house, a guard went in to report. After a while, Xingyu walked out. She said impatiently, something has happened to your Chaotian sect, so it's not convenient for our pavilion master to tour around today. You can go back. Yun Chujio couldn't wait to do that, so she left with a smile. Xingyu pursed her lips. This Lin Chuchu might really think that she was favored by their pavilion master, but in fact, she was just a chess piece. What an idiot. However, when she thought of what happened last night, Xing Ye's expression suddenly became a little ugly. The original plan was flawless, but who would have thought that the bead would actually escape from the pavilion master's hands? What bad luck. However, as long as the bead was still in Chaotian sect, the pavilion master would find another way to get it away sooner or later. As for Lin Chuchu, she was just a piece of trash. He would find a chance to deal with her in the future. To avoid suspicion, Hei Shinjio went straight back to her dormitory after leaving the guest house. She didn't go out. The people of Chaotian sect searched for an entire day, but they didn't even see the bead. The Jima sect master and the others immediately looked worried. Where did the bead go? Someone said, Sect master, that bead was lost in the hands of Tower Master Lun. Could it be that he had secretly stolen it and used some secret method to create the light, and then hid the bead while we were closing our eyes? Elder Zhong is right. Maybe that bead was stolen by someone sent by Tower Master Luochen from the forbidden area, and then somehow the bead escaped. Tower Master Luochen got the bead again in the name of helping us find the bead. Then, he deliberately hid the bead from us. He is playing us like fools. Chapter 3557. Search the entire sect. Hearing the words of these two people, everyone immediately began to discuss. The more they talked, the more they felt that the bead had been hidden by Tower Master Luochen. Even Elder Zhuge, who had previously spoken up for Tower Master Luochen, frowned. This matter was too coincidental. Tower Master Luochen was too suspicious. The untainted sect leader's expression was ugly. Could it be that they had respectfully welcomed in a thief? Although the 9 pavilions had a high status and powerful strength, their Chaotian sect was not a fool that would be fooled by others. Moreover, the successive sect leaders had instructed the next sect leader that the beads sealed in the Forbidden Land were no trifling matter and should not be allowed to wander around in the world. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. Therefore, even if they might risk offending the 9-storied pavilion, this matter could not be let go just like that. After the Jima sect master explained his intention, everyone expressed their agreement. Even if the 9-storied pavilion was not easy to provoke, this matter had to be investigated thoroughly. Therefore, the Jima sect master immediately sent someone to invite Tower Master Luochen to the meeting hall. Tower Master Luochen had already guessed that the matter would come to this point, and he was very angry. Therefore, he was not in the mood to see Yun Chujiao in the morning and allowed Xingyu to send Yun Chujiao away. The plan was very detailed, and it was so close to success. Who would have thought that not only did they fail to get the bead, but they also attracted the suspicion of Chaotian sect? It was as if they didn't get to eat the fox meat, but they got into trouble instead. This was not the worst. The disappearance of the bead was the worst. The people of Chaotian sect couldn't find the bead even after searching for a whole day. It was likely that they couldn't find it at all. This was really difficult to deal with. As soon as Tower Master Luochen entered the meeting hall, he said coldly without waiting for the Jima sect master to speak, "I know that your sect suspects that I have taken the bead. This is inevitable. After all, the bead disappeared in my hands. Come and read on our website Wuxiao World site. Thanks. In order to prove their innocence, everyone in the 9 pavilions can accept the inspection of your sect, including me." If something else was lost, the Jima sect master would have laughed and gone over. However, the bead was no small matter. Therefore, the Jima sect master said a few polite words but didn't reject Tower Master Luchen's words. Of course, the so-called body search was not like the secular world, where one would feel around one's body. One only needed to use the person being searched to erase the spiritual imprint of the storage ring and the person searching to use the spiritual imprint to scan it. Immediately, the Jima sect master pleaded guilty and personally searched Tower Master Luchen's storage ring. He did not find any trace of that bead. At the same time, the Jima sect master sent people to search all the people in the 9 pavilions, including the guest courtyard, but also found nothing. The Jima sect master immediately apologized to Tower Master Luochen. Although Tower Master Luchen's face was very ugly, he still said, "Forget it, I also know the importance of that bead. You are right to be careful." Tower Master Luochen clenched his hand in his sleeve. A hint of hesitation flashed in his eyes, but he still said, "Tower Master Luochen, I advise you to search all the suspicious people in the sect to prevent any fish from falling into the net." Tower Master Luochen nodded repeatedly. He immediately asked a few trusted elders to start a whole sect-wide investigation. Everyone had to be checked. He Xinjiao was currently chatting with a certain honored guest in the dormitory. Of course, this fellow was almost angered to the point of vomiting blood, but he still enjoyed it. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door from outside. Lin Chu opened the door. "We want to search." He Xinjiao was dumbfounded. She had so many secrets on her that she couldn't even remember them clearly. If she was searched, wouldn't it be terrible? The items were easy to deal with. She could just let the wool ball enter the Great Void Mystic Realm. However, those dumb cuties couldn't enter the Great Void Mirror due to the limitation of their spiritual power. Moreover, even if she let those dumb cuties disguise themselves as ordinary demonic beasts, it was inevitable that Chaotian sect would find her in the future. Moreover, other things were easy to deal with. She still had a phoenix egg. That thing would definitely attract disaster. Ah, that's not right. She still had hundreds of giant winged birds in her spiritual beast bag. There were still so many remnant souls. It would be even more difficult to explain when the time came. Hei Shinjio broke out in a cold sweat. At that moment, the knocking on the door became even more intense, and her tone became impatient. Hei Shinjio was so anxious that she gritted her teeth. She knew that it was not easy to get a bargain. Moreover, she was not the one who wanted to get a bargain. It was that damn broken bead that entered her mouth by itself. What should she do now? Just as this fellow was about to bang his head against the wall, Xiao Hanio, who was inside the spirit beast bag, said, "Master, Curly Hair said that you can rest assured and let that person come in and search his body. When he searches the spirit beast bag, he will weave a dream for him. I guarantee that there won't be any problems." Hei Shinjio was immediately delighted. That's right, she still had curly hair. This fellow immediately transferred all the valuable things in his storage ring into the great void mystic realm, leaving behind only some unimportant things. At this moment, the courtyard door was forcefully opened, and Elder Zhuge barged in with his men. Elder Zhuge asked unhappily, "Lin Chu-Chu, why didn't you open the door?" Hei Shinjio yawned. "I haven't slept well these 2 nights. I was catching up on my sleep, and I thought I was dreaming when I heard the commotion." "Elder Zhuge, is there something you need from me?" "Oh right, Tower Master Luochen said that he wouldn't be touring for the next 2 days, so I didn't go to the guest house. I'm not slacking off." Elder Zhuge glared at her. What nonsense. Right now, he wasn't in the mood to care about whether Tower Master Luochen went sightseeing or not. All he wanted to do now was to find that bead. "Alright, stop talking nonsense. I guess you've heard that our Chaotian sect has lost a very important thing. Now that the entire sect is being searched, you can't be an exception. Come and search me." Elder Zhuge said impatiently. Yun Chujio nodded obediently. "Alright, you can check. I don't have much money anyway, so I'm not afraid of revealing my wealth." Elder Zhuge glared at her. To be honest, he felt that this Lin Chujio didn't have the time or ability to commit a crime. This search was just a formality. Elder Zhuge immediately took Yun Chujio's storage ring. When he used his spiritual sense to probe inside, the corner of his eyes twitched violently. After checking so many storage rings, this was the first time he had seen something like this. Apart from a few sets of clothes and some pitiful spirit stones, the rest of the storage rings of this little girl were all food. Moreover, Elder Zhuge saw that some of the bowls and plates were very familiar. When he took a closer look, he saw that there was a mark of Chaotian sect on them. Elder Zhuge withdrew his spiritual sense, and the disciples who had entered the room to search also indicated that they didn't find anything. Elder Zhuge nodded his head and left with his people. Hei Shinjio touched her nose. She had thought that they would search the spirit beast bag, but after a long time of false alarm, it had really scared her to death. Tower Master Luochen looked at the rising water vapor and recalled the days when she was in the Tianyuan Institute. Those days that were as light as tea could never be returned. She could only continue to move forward and remove all obstacles. The person in front of her would eventually be hers. Tower Master Luochen held the teacup and didn't drink it. He said coldly, "Chaotian sect has been a bit chaotic these days, so it's not convenient for me to go out and visit. Pick some interesting things about Chaotian sect and tell me about them." Hei Shinjio felt as if she had a dog in her heart. How would she know what interesting things there were in Chaotian sect? However, it was a good thing that the search for the beads had led to a few old incidents. This could be considered a topic of conversation. Therefore, Yun Chujio reworked the gossip she had heard and began to narrate it vividly. Tower Master Luochen was very engrossed in listening, but his eyes were a little vacant. He recalled many memories. These bright colors were the only motivation that supported him until now. However, he could not recognize the person he had been longing for in front of him. He could only spend more time with her in this way. After Hei Shinjio told a few interesting stories, Tower Master Luochen said indifferently, "Where do you think that bead is hidden?" How did it disappear out of nowhere? Yun Chujia's heart skipped a beat. Was he suspecting her? How smart was this guy? He could connect many things in an instant and almost guess the truth with just a thought. She couldn't help but sneer in her heart. This Lan Luochen was really a black-hearted person. Previously, he used her as a cover to deceive the world, and now he suspected that she had taken the bead? Although this guy's heart was in turmoil, he said helplessly on the surface, "Tower Master, you think too highly of me. I'm just a little disciple. How can I find something that even the sect leader can't find?" Tower Master Luochen stared at He Xinjiu. Seeing that she didn't look like she was faking it, he thought to himself, is he thinking too much? The bead did not fall into her hands? Tower Master Luochen probed a few more times, but still did not find any flaws. On the contrary, He Xinjiu said with emotion, "Tower Master, you are really kind-hearted. It seems that you are also worried about the loss of something from our Chaotian sect." Tower Master Luchen's face stiffened. He naturally understood the subtext of Yun Chujia's words. If translated into plain English, it meant that the dog was meddling in other people's business. Tower Master Luochen was not angry. After confirming that Yun Chujio had nothing to do with the bead, he heaved a sigh of relief. If the bead was really with Yun Chujio, he would really be in a difficult position. In the next 2 days, He Xinjiu would go to Tower Master Luchen's place during the day to talk about some interesting stories about the sect. At night, she would go to the cafeteria to gather materials and pack up the food. Every day the sect protecting formation was activated, it would consume a large amount of spirit stones. Sect Master Jima and the others discussed it and decided that since they could not find the bead, there was no need to activate the sect protecting formation anymore. Hence, they cancelled the sect protecting formation. He Xinjiu was overjoyed. Once the sect protecting formation was removed, the pretty boy would find an opportunity to come in and save her. Then she could return to being the female emperor of Zephyr. That night, a certain figure that He Xinjiu yearned for finally appeared in her courtyard. The certain figure was still dressed in white, and she wore a silver mask on her face. Under the moonlight, she looked as if she was cast by a god. Although He Xinjiu was secretly ridiculing the certain figure for not being afraid of being discovered for wearing white in the middle of the night, she was truly stupid. However, the smile on her face was like a flower. "Prince Charming, you are finally here. Seeing you, I feel that the dark night has become brighter. Even the wind has a sweet taste." He Xinjiu flattered him with her starry eyes. The Lord's face stiffened slightly and he said coldly, "Don't waste time. Let's go." He Xinjiu nodded obediently. She was not afraid of settling accounts. It was more important to leave this damned place first. This guy took off his spirit-concealing ring and was about to follow behind a certain someone when a certain someone picked her up and jumped out of the courtyard. He Xinjiu's eyes were filled with pink bubbles. Oh my, he even said that his 7 emotions and 6 desires had been sealed. What was with this princess hug? She didn't expect this gigolo to be so good at flirting with girls. Well, if she knew that a certain someone only thought that her spiritual power was too low and that she walked slowly, this guy probably wouldn't think that way. D. Baiming's movement technique was like a ghost as he nimbly dodged wave after wave of patrolling disciples of Chaotian sect. He actually arrived near the mountain gate very quickly. He Xinjiu could not believe her eyes. So smooth? Wasn't this a little too simple? Just as He Xinjiu was thinking about it, she saw many disciples of Chaotian sect surging out from the surroundings of the mountain gate, led by the sect master of Jima sect. The sect protection formation of Chaotian sect was activated once again. In an instant, it was brightly lit as if it was daytime. He Xinjiu's heart sank. She knew it wouldn't be so easy to get out. Was she being tricked? She looked up at a certain someone. That person's eyes were still calm, as if the people in front of her were all big radishes. It had to be said that her pretty boy was very calm. Of course, it could also be facial paralysis. That person did not put He Xinjiu down, and He Xinjiu was happy to play dumb. She even took the opportunity to rub her head against that person's chest. Bang! A certain someone let go, and He Xinjiu fell to the ground miserably. This guy was stunned from the fall. If it wasn't for the fact that he was facing a great enemy, this guy would definitely have put up a good fight. Hei Shinjio stood up as if nothing had happened. Then, she said to the somewhat dazed Jima sect master, "Why aren't you sleeping in the middle of the night? Are you here just to disturb my intimate relationship with my husband?" Leader of the Jima sect. Even in his wildest dreams, he had never thought that Lin Chuchu would say such a few words. Shouldn't he be frightened and guilty? Shouldn't he run away in a panic? Leader of the Jima sect slowed down. He shouted sternly, "Lin Chuchu, thanks to Tower Master Luchen's reminder, we realize that your arrival was too much of a coincidence. If you hand over the item now, I can make the decision to let you leave. Otherwise, you won't be able to escape today." Hei Shinjio heard the Jima sect master's words and looked at Tower Master Luochen, who was standing not far away with a slightly mocking gaze. Was he planning to turn hostile? It was good too. Everything in the past would be written off, lest she, a person who cared about old relationships, was unable to be heartless. Tower Master Luochen saw Yun Chujia's gaze and his hands tightly clenched together under his sleeves. His heart ached. "Little Gio, don't blame me. This is the only way to completely wash away my suspicion. Moreover, this is the best chance to get rid of Biming. As for you, I will make sure you are safe and sound." Yun Chujio retracted her gaze from Tower Master Luochen and said to the Jima sect leader, "Sect leader Jima, I believe you have investigated clearly how I came to Chaotian sect. If this is my conspiracy, then I am too stupid, right? I sent myself to the bottom of the sea to wait for your disciples? Am I not afraid of losing my life? Moreover, after I was discovered, I had to leave Chaotian sect as soon as possible because of Tower Master Luchen's arrival. I was forced to go out to welcome him. Can I even plan this? Most importantly, I have been accompanying Tower Master Luochen on a tour all day. When did I commit this crime? Moreover, I'm a piece of trash in the first level of the spiritualization realm. Can I succeed?" The Jima sect master was rendered speechless by the question, but he soon sneered, "Maybe you didn't plan it in the beginning, but maybe it was a spur-of-the-moment idea. Otherwise, how can you explain the person next to you? He sneaked into our Chaotian sect. What else could it be if he wasn't plotting something?" Hei Shinjio hugged a certain honored warrior's waist and smiled sweetly. "Yes, he is up to no good. He is up to no good. Isn't it only right and proper for my husband to come and rescue me? Why, does Sect Master Jima have a problem with that?" Sect Master Jima. Sect Master Jima sized up a certain honored warrior with some trepidation and said, "If you can let me search you and prove that you didn't take anything from our Chaoan sect, I can let you leave." Hei Shinjio knew with her toes that a certain someone would not agree. He was not like her who could bend and stretch. As expected, a certain someone's cold voice sounded, "Get out of the way or die." Hei Shinjio was on the verge of tears. "Pretty boy, even though you look handsome. But aren't you courting death? There are so many people, and the sect protection array is still open. No matter how powerful you are, you can't get out." Cough, cough, not to mention that she is a burden. As expected, the Jima sect master sneered, "Young master, your tone is a little too arrogant. It is true that your spiritual power may be higher than the people of our Chaotian sect, but it is difficult for two fists to fight against four hands. Do you still want to behave atrociously in the territory of our Chaotian sect?" Hei Shinjio was afraid that a certain honored warrior would say something earth-shaking again. She quickly said, "Sect Master Jima, my husband has a bad temper, and he doesn't know how to talk. He means that either you let us go, or we will die by ourselves." A certain honored warrior, Sect Master Jima. Everyone, after a period of silence that was as quiet as a chicken, Sect Master Jima sneered, "Lin Chuchu, you don't need to use sweet words anymore. Are you going to hand it over or not?" Hei Shinjio sighed, "I want to hand it over, but I have never seen the thing you mentioned." Jima Sect Master, you are also a smart person. Are you going to let others play with you? Don't you know who has the thing? Can't you see through such an obvious diversion? I have been framed from the beginning. Otherwise, how could I become Tower Master Luchen's guide? Wasn't it because he could see that my identity was different, so he could make a big fuss about it? Now, in order to clear his own suspicion, he played such a trick again. He deserved my bad luck. Coincidentally, I was in a hurry to reunite with my husband, so I fell into his trap. It doesn't matter if my husband and I are dead or not. Jima Sect Master, are you willing to let others play around with you like a fool? Oh right, I also remembered something. On the day of the incident, Tower Master Luochen was silent and his temperament was slightly different. At that time, I was only thinking about my husband, so I didn't pay too much attention. Now that I think about it, there's a lot going on. Hei Shinjio sneered in her heart. Even if she and the gigolo were to suffer today, that scum Lan Luochen wouldn't be able to think of anything good either. If he wanted to scheme against her, he was courting death. Hearing Yun Chujia's words, Tower Master Luochen pursed his lips tightly. He felt a dull pain in his heart. Sooner or later, little Jiao would know his painstaking efforts. Even if she hated him, he would still insist on doing so. Only by getting rid of Di Baiming would she belong to him completely. Upon hearing Yun Chujia's words, the Jima Sect Master showed some suspicion on his face, but he quickly said, regardless of whether this matter is related to Tower Master Luochen or not, you won't be able to get rid of the suspicion. Just surrender. Before Hei Shinjio could say anything, a certain someone said in a cold voice, for the last time, get out of the way or die. Seeing that the certain someone was so arrogant, many people of Chaotian sect immediately shouted, Leader, give the order. These two people are too stubborn. Just capture them and search their bodies. The leader of the Jima sect nodded and waved his hand, motioning for everyone to take down Di Baiming and Hei Shinjio. Hei Shinjio rolled up her sleeves and was about to summon De Hua to fight to the death when she saw a figure flash by her side. Then, she realized that the miserable Jima sect master was strangled by a certain someone. Everyone was stunned by this unexpected turn of events. The Jima sect master was the person with the highest spiritual power in the Chaotian sect. How could he be so easily taken hostage by that man? Hei Shinjio, on the other hand, was grinning from ear to ear. Her gigolo was indeed smart. He would first catch the leader of the bandits. Let's see if this bunch of Chaotian peppers still dared to stop them. This guy said in a domineering manner, See? My man is so awesome. It's not that I'm bragging, but we don't even care about that damn thing of your Chaotian sect. We don't want it even if you give it to us for free. Now get out of the way, or else you will be eager to see the Jima sect master die so that you can usurp the position of the sect master. Although the Jima sect master was stunned and frightened for a moment, his expression soon recovered. He said coldly, It's not a pity for me to die. Don't worry about me. Catch them. Hei Shinjio clicked her tongue and said, You old man, you are quite shrewd. I know you are lying. You just want to take the opportunity to see who in Chaotian sect is truly good to you and who is scheming against you. The Jima sect master was stunned. Even if he continued to explain, most people would still believe what this little girl said. This little girl was really difficult to deal with. Di Baiming dragged the Jima sect master closer and closer to the mountain gate. The people of Chaotian sect were afraid that Di Baiming would kill the Jima sect master, so they had no choice but to retreat. Tower Master Luochen frowned. He had gone through a lot of trouble to design this and made little Nine hate him. If he let Di Baiming leave just like that, wouldn't the loss outweigh the gain? Thinking of this, he flew in front of Di Baiming to block him. Di Baiming glanced at him. His cold and bone-chilling gaze made Tower Master Luochen feel his blood surge. It was no longer the same as before, their statuses were completely reversed. This Di Baiming was still so arrogant, what right did he have? Tower Master Luochen said coldly, Let go of the Jima sect leader now, and accept the body search, or else, HMH. Yun Chujio was so angry that she gritted her teeth, pointed at Tower Master Luochen and scolded, You ingrate! Get out of the way! PN01 a trace of hurt flashed across Tower Master Luochen's eyes. He clenched his fists and ignored Yun Chujia's words. Instead, he looked at Di Baiming even more fiercely. If you don't let go, I will have to force you to stay. Di Baiming's clear voice rang out. Threaten me? You are not worthy. Tower Master Luchen's face turned extremely ugly. He couldn't care less about the Jima sect leader that Di Baiming held, so he swung his palm at Di Baiming. Tower Master Luochen. The people of Chaotian sect exclaimed. This Tower Master Luochen had gone too far. Wasn't he afraid that the man would use the Jima sect master to block this palm? What shocked everyone was that the man didn't use the Jima sect master to block this palm. He didn't even dodge it. He only waved his sleeve, and Tower Master Luochen was forced to retreat more than 10 steps. Tower Master Luochen looked at Di Baiming in disbelief. No, this was impossible. How could he be so powerful all of a sudden? Di Baiming glanced at the crowd. Aren't you guys going to move? The Jima sect leader could no longer maintain his calm expression. He said in a trembling voice, "Withdraw the sect protection formation and let them go." This person had such terrifying strength. Even if Chaotian sect could keep them in the end, they would definitely suffer heavy casualties. The loss outweighed the gain. Moreover, with this person's level of pride, he would not dare to lie. That pearl should not have been taken by him. Hold on. That thing is of great importance. We can't let him go. Tower Master Luochen led the people of the 9 pavilions to block in front. Hei Xinjiu narrowed her eyes and stared at Tower Master Luochen as she said word by word, Tower Master Luochen is really warm-hearted. What, are you afraid that you won't be able to defend yourself if we 2 scapegoats leave? Tower Master Luochen tightened his grip and shifted his gaze, not looking directly at Yun Chujio, he said coldly, as the Tower Master of the 9 pavilions, I naturally can't sit idly by. Leave your things here and I'll let you leave. Otherwise, you can forget about leaving Chaotian sect today. Yun Chujio gritted her teeth in anger. If she had known earlier that Lan Luochen was such a scum, she should not have known him and given him herbs to cure his mother's old illness. What an ingrate! Yun Chujio was about to say something when she was pulled to the back by a certain someone. Then, she heard a certain someone's cold voice, Are you guys going to take turns or attack together? Hei Xinjiu was about to cry. Although such a pretty boy was pretty cool, but a fierce tiger could not defeat a pack of wolves. Wasn't this courting death? Tower Master Luchen saw Di Baiming's slightly contemptuous gaze, and his eyes became even gloomier. He suddenly jumped forward, but the direction he jumped towards was towards Yun Chujio. He could only separate Yun Chujio first. Only then could he let everyone go up and kill Di Baiming. Hei Xinjiu and Tower Master Luchen's spiritual power were vastly different. When he realized that Tower Master Luchen's target was her, it was already too late to dodge. This fellow couldn't help but complain in his heart. This was bad. Just as Tower Master Luchen's hand was about to touch Hei Xinjiu's body, he was sent flying by a powerful force. Tower Master Luochen staggered a few times before he regained his footing. Hei Xinjiu's eyes sparkled as she looked at a certain someone who had already retracted his hand. Io, how did this pretty boy suddenly become so powerful? He was simply invincible in this world. Tower Master Luchen's eyes were filled with shock. This was the first time he was forced back. He thought that it was because he had underestimated his opponent. However, he was already on guard this time. He was actually forced back more than 10 steps. Why did Di Baiming's strength suddenly increase? Xingyu looked at Hei Xinjiu with jealousy and hatred. Although the man was wearing a mask, his noble bearing was not inferior to Tower Master. He was even slightly better than Tower Master. How could Lin Chuchu deserve such an outstanding man? Xingyu said to Tower Master Luochen viciously, Tower Master, let everyone attack together. Kill this dog, man and woman. There is no need to talk about morality when dealing with such people. Finding that thing is more important. Tower Master Luochen looked at her coldly, then said to the guards behind him, attack together. Kill the men on the spot, and leave the women alive. Although Tower Master Luochen didn't want to do this, he had no other choice now. Moreover, he planned to lock Yun Chujio up by his side after Di Baiming was restrained by the guards, so that he wouldn't hurt her. The guards of the 9 pavilions immediately rushed towards Di Baiming and Hei Xinjiu. All kinds of spiritual power attacks flooded towards Di Baiming. Before He Xinjiu could release Dehua, Di Baiming had already protected her in his arms and released a huge ice dragon. The body of the ice dragon was several times bigger than Dehua. Even though it was a spiritual beast, the beast-like pressure made people tremble from the bottom of their hearts. The scales on the ice dragon's body flickered with a cold light. In the blink of an eye, the guards of the 9 pavilions were either dead or injured. The ice dragon didn't disappear, but rushed toward the dumbfounded Tower Master Luochen. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Tower Master Luochen hurriedly dodged in a flustered manner. Even so, he was still swept by the dragon whiskers. Fortunately, he had activated his spiritual energy barrier, which allowed him to remain uninjured. At this moment, deep fear rose in the hearts of everyone present. How could this man be so powerful? It was simply too terrifying. As long as he wanted to, none of the people present would be able to survive. The Jima sect master was certain that the bead was not taken by this man. If he wanted the bead, he could ask for it with his strength. He could even destroy the Chaotian sect and take the bead away. The Jima sect master was afraid that a certain lord would destroy the Chaotian sect. He said with a trembling voice, "Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Get out of the way! Open the gate and let them leave." Without the order of the leader of the Jima sect, the disciples of the Chaotian sect had already made a path for them. Tower Master Luochen couldn't even block a single move from him. If they still tried to stop him, they would be courting death. More than half of the people of the 9 pavilions were injured by the ice dragon. At this moment, they all looked at Tower Master Luochen, waiting for his order. Tower Master Luochen's eyes were extremely gloomy. He stared in the direction of Di Baiming and Yun Chujiu and said coldly, "Let them go." The people of the 9 pavilions couldn't wait to hear that. They quickly dodged, afraid that they would be killed if they were too late. He Xinjiu looked at the 10 feet wide path that they had dodged and couldn't help but straighten her back. It was good to have an awesome boyfriend. Di Baiming and He Xinjiu strolled out of Chaotian sect casually and summoned a flying spiritual artifact. After the two of them boarded it, they left. After boarding the flying spiritual device, He Xinjiu smiled brightly. "Prince Charming, why have you suddenly become so cool and domineering? You are simply too awesome." Di Baiming glanced at her indifferently and put the mask on his face back into his storage ring. Then, he covered his chest and spat out a mouthful of blood. He sat down cross-legged and began to meditate. He Xinjiu immediately panicked. She took out a bottle of pills to stop the bleeding and stuffed it into the mouth of a certain venerated. The venerated almost choked to death by this guy. Are you okay? What happened to you?" He Xinjiu asked with a sobbing voice. Di Baiming shook his head and said in a flat voice, "I won't die. I just used a secret technique. I can't use my spiritual power for half a month. I'll leave the rest to you." He Xinjiu was still worried. She checked the pulse and rolled her eyes. She almost checked the body of a certain body. A certain body naturally didn't like being treated like this by He Xinjiu. He scolded her a little, but it didn't have any effect. Moreover, he couldn't use his spiritual power, so he could only let He Xinjiu do whatever she wanted. He Xinjiu checked several times and finally confirmed that there was nothing unusual except for the blood that a certain body vomited before. Then she let out a long breath and hugged a certain body, crying loudly. This fellow felt a lingering fear in his heart. If the gigolo died just like that, she did not want to live anymore. Damn Lan Luochen, she would kill him sooner or later. Seeing the crying, He Xinjiu frowned and said stiffly, "Don't cry anymore. If you want to cry, go to the side. You've dirted my clothes." He Xinjiu, could she take back what she had said? Could she feed her emotions to the dogs? No matter how powerful this gigolo was, he was still a lunatic. He wiped his tears and said with a sobbing voice, "That scum Lan Luochen might send people to chase us. What if I can't beat them? So, let's take the rejuvenation pill." Hearing He Xinjiu's words, a certain venerable's face stiffened. He had once made up his mind to never take that rejuvenation pill again, but now it seemed that he had no other choice. He remembered that he still had the antidote to the rejuvenation pill in his hands, and his heart calmed down a little. He nodded his head indiscernibly. Yun Chujio considered that the journey was long and she was afraid that there would be other changes along the way. Hence, she only changed the two of them into the appearance of 12 or 13 years old. To be on the safe side, the two of them took the transfiguration pill and changed their appearance. When the transfiguration pill was mentioned, Hei Shinjio asked a certain someone in puzzlement, "You said that I had taken the transfiguration pill. How did that scum Lan Luochen recognize me?" Di Baiming glanced at her. "Your eyes, attitude and way of doing things will give you away. Moreover, you were dressed differently from others at that time, so it will naturally arouse his suspicion. Not to mention that you used Lin Chuch's fake name. It would be weird if he didn't recognize you." Hei Shinjio touched her chin. It seemed that she had to be more careful in the future. Otherwise, wouldn't the disguising pills be ineffective? The guy looked at a certain god and said, "Prince Charming, I can at least fool a few people. With your iceberg-like temperament, it's easier for you to be exposed." The certain god didn't refute her. He closed his eyes and began to meditate. Hei Shinjio tactfully didn't say anything else. She held her chin and pondered about her next plan. The northern continent was very far from the southern continent, so there were too many variables on the road. She had to plan carefully. The guy suddenly remembered something and hurriedly said, "Prince Charming, we have to change to a flying spirit tool. Otherwise, we will be easily targeted by that blue dregs." A certain lord nodded. The two of them found a valley, changed to a new flying spirit tool, and deliberately went in another direction to continue their journey. After a few days, they did not encounter any big waves. Just when Hei Shinjio was slightly relieved, they unfortunately encountered a robbery. At that time, they passed by a valley that forbade flying, so they could only continue on foot. They didn't expect to be blocked by a few people after walking for more than 10 miles. "Hand over the valuable things or I'll kill you all," a bearded man said fiercely. Yun Chujio looked at those people. Although their spiritual power was higher than hers, since they had fallen into the hands of bandits, their spiritual power wouldn't be much higher. Therefore, this guy was instantly confident. "You mountain bandits are too unprofessional. You should say that this mountain was opened by me, and this tree was planted by me. If you want to pass through here, leave some money to buy your lives," Hei Shinjio said with a smile. Those mountain bandits were immediately dumbfounded. They thought that this little girl would be scared to the point of trembling when she saw them. After all, she was only at the first level of the spirit transformation realm, and that young man's spiritual power was even lower, only at the 8th level of the spirit illusion realm. "Stupid girl, stop talking nonsense and hand over the valuable things quickly. Otherwise, I'll sell you to the furnace and tripod pavilion," the bearded man said impatiently. Hei Shinjio curled her lips and said, "Get lost or die. Choose one yourself." Seeing the stunned expressions of the bandits, this guy felt that his acting was 100% awesome. After the bandits were stunned for a moment, they laughed out loud. "Big brother, this stinky girl is simply too audacious. She actually dares to threaten us." That's right. These two little weaklings still dare to boast shamelessly and threaten us? They're really courting death. Big brother, don't waste your breath on them. Let's capture them first. Hei Shinjio straightened her back and snorted coldly, "If you want to fight, then hurry up. What are you waiting for? All of you attack together. A bunch of trash." This guy immediately experienced the feeling of being awesome at that time. He had to admit that the feeling of being pretentious was really good. Those bandits thought that this little girl was probably not smart, and they even let them attack together? Any one of them could kill her. Just as the bandits were about to laugh at Hei Shinjio for overestimating herself, they saw the little girl release 5 puppets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all of you attack together. Hei Shinjio said proudly. This guy rarely used these 5 puppets because he was afraid of attracting trouble. Now that he finally had the chance to show off in front of a certain lord, he naturally wouldn't let it go. The mountain bandits were stunned at first, then they curled their lips in disdain. It was only 5 puppets, These things were very useless. It was a piece of cake. Who would have thought that after exchanging blows, they would discover that these puppets were actually made of 1,000-year-old black iron? The worst part was that these puppets were almost turning into spirits. Every time they attacked their vital points, they would see a ghost. Didn't they say that puppets could only defend passively and not attack actively? The bearded man felt that things were not looking good. His gaze fell on a certain body. Why not take this kid as a hostage first and then threaten that stinky girl? Thinking of this, the bearded man avoided the puppet's attack and pounced towards Baiming. Hei Xingjiu had been watching the battle. Naturally, she realized the bearded man's intention and immediately released a few silly cuties. 15 minutes later, the bandits were all dead. They didn't even close their eyes until they died. They couldn't understand how a little girl could have so many strange things. Hei Xingjiu put away their storage rings and burned their bodies into ashes. Yun Chujio said to a certain god proudly, "Idol, did you see that? Actually, I'm quite powerful too. It's just that I don't have the chance to show it usually." A certain god said indifferently, "Just as a Hei Xingjiu, you will lose your baby if you chat like this." What Yun Chujio did not know was that not long after they left, a nearly transparent spirit butterfly circled around the place where they had fought a few times before continuing to chase after them. Hei Xingjiu thought that the valley was not big and that they would pass through it very quickly. She did not expect that they would not be able to leave the valley even when the sky turned dark. Just as Hei Xingjiu was about to find a place to rest, Baiming frowned and said, "Someone is coming, and there are at least hundreds of them." Hei Xingjiu was shocked and blurted out, "Could it be that the companions of the mountain bandits are coming? It shouldn't be. Those mountain bandits look like useless little bandits. I don't think they have so many companions." Pan, the N0, V, E1D Baiming frowned even more. "They are not bandits. They are moving very fast. Their spiritual power must be high. They might be from the Chaotian sect or the 9 pavilions." Hei Xingjiu's heart sank. She couldn't beat either the Chaotian sect or the 9 pavilions. Was she finished with the gigolo? Something was wrong. They had changed their appearance. They might not be able to recognize them, so they had to stay calm. However, this guy felt uneasy for some reason. He felt that things were going to turn out badly. Hei Xingjiu had the intention to bring Baiming to hide for a while, but after scanning the surroundings, she could not find a suitable place to hide. In a moment, hundreds of people had arrived in front of them. The leader of the group looked at Yun Chujio and Baiming suspiciously. He was puzzled. These two people's ages did not match the person the pavilion master was looking for. Could it be that the spirit butterfly had made a mistake? That person released a nearly transparent spirit butterfly from the spirit beast bag. The spirit butterfly's antennae trembled. It was obvious that they were the people the pavilion master was looking for. Forget it. Regardless of whether it was true or not, he would rather kill 1,000 than let one go. He had to catch them first. Baiming's heart sank when he saw the spirit butterfly in that person's hand. No wonder these people chased after him. Lan Luochen must have scattered some powder made from the butterfly eggs on little Jio's body. That was why the mother butterfly had tracked him here. The powder made from the 1,000-mile-long tracking butterfly eggs was very overbearing. Once it was contaminated, even if one used a cleaning spell, it would not be able to remove the unique smell. However, this 1,000-mile-long tracking butterfly was very rare. He did not expect Lan Luochen to have such an item. He had been careless. The leader did not say much. He waved his hand and said, "Capture them and bring them back to the pavilion master for punishment." Although Hei Xingjiu did not know whether those people knew their identities or not, she knew that if she fell into their hands, she would be doomed. She pointed at the leader and said in a clear voice, "Hold on. Don't you think it's a bit shameless for you to make things difficult for us two half-grown children? If you are a man, fight me one-on-one." The leader sensed his subordinate's mocking gaze and sneered, "Little girl, since you're asking for it, I'll grant you your wish." "Hall Master? I didn't expect you to be a Hall Master. What's your name?" Hei Xingjiu asked with a smile. The leader ignored Heizinjia's words and formed a seal with his hands. Several wind blades flew toward Heishinjio with a whistling sound. Heishinjio dodged in a hurry and complained in her heart. The spiritual power of this bullshit hall master was much higher than the 5 mountain bandits combined. She was afraid that she would really die today. A fierce look flashed in Heizinjia's eyes. She could only capture this hall master as a hostage and have a chance of survival. Otherwise, there was really no way to survive. When Heishinjio thought of this, she had Xiao Heinio curse him and had Meng Yanshou weave a dream for him. This was a 2-pronged attack so that she could hit him in one strike. As expected, although the hall master's spiritual power was not low, he was still hit. He first staggered, then his spiritual sense went into a trance. When he woke up, he was already forced to his neck by Yun Chujio with a large kitchen knife. "You guys get out of the way or I'll kill him," Heishinjio said fiercely. The people of the 9 pavilions thought that their hall master wouldn't effortlessly take down that little girl, so they all relaxed and watched the show. Who would have thought that their hall master would be controlled by that little girl in a daze? Was their hall master sleepwalking? If they had known that their hall master would be defeated, they would have taken that kid as a hostage. Now, they were suddenly in a passive position. The people of the 9 pavilions looked at each other. What should they do now? The hall master had already given his life. If they couldn't bring the people back, he would take their lives. Although they weren't sure if these two were the people the hall master was looking for, since they smelled of spirit butterfly powder. Then it had to do with those two. While everyone was hesitating, a hawk-nosed man said viciously, "Pavilion Master's orders cannot be disobeyed. As for Pavilion Master Een, just treat it as sacrificing for our 9 pavilions. Pavilion Master has ordered that if the women want to live, the men shall be killed without exception. Go." The one who spoke was Vice Pavilion Master Meng. He had originally wanted to replace him. Now was such a good opportunity, so he naturally would not let it go. The guards of the 9 pavilions immediately ignored the life and death of the hall master who was held hostage by Yun Chujio. They immediately narrowed the encirclement and attacked Di Baiming with their spiritual power like a tidal wave. Heizinjia's head buzzed. She did not have time to think and directly used the hall master as a meat shield in front of Di Baiming. Then she asked the little bastard to summon the big bastard to protect Di Baiming inside. She hurriedly raised her spiritual energy shield and released De Hua. 10,000-year-old single pig, I can only rely on you now. De Hua instantly turned black. Her huge body didn't pounce on the people from the 9 pavilions. Instead, she stood in front of Di Baiming and Yun Chujio, blocking the continuous spiritual energy attacks for them. Fortunately, Tower Master Luochen had ordered to capture Yun Chujio alive, so those people didn't attack Yun Chujio with all their strength. Otherwise, both Yun Chujio and Di Baiming would have been dead long ago. Heishinjio hurriedly summoned 5 puppets and the silly cuties. This guy cursed in his heart. It was forbidden to fly here. Otherwise, she would have asked the shadow-skimming giant winged bird to come out and help. What bad luck. The people of the 9 pavilions were really shocked by De Hua, the puppets, and the silly cuties. What the hell were these things? At first, they did not take it to heart and suffered a little loss. However, the difference in strength between the two sides was too great. First, the silly cuties were injured one after another, and then the big turtle shell protecting Di Baiming was split into 2 halves. Vice Hall Master Meng sneered, "Little girl, although you have some skills, you are not our match at all. Hall Master does not want to take your life, so you should obediently surrender to avoid suffering." Heishinjio ignored him and let the silly girls protect Di Baiming. Then, she threw the talismans and chili noodles in her hands at the people of the 9 pavilions as if they were free. The people from the 9 pavilions were caught off guard at the beginning. They choked until tears flowed down their faces. Many people were injured by the talismans. But very soon, the people from the 9 pavilions used their spiritual energy to break her chili noodles. Although Heishinjio had many talismans, their quality was not high. Therefore, they were of limited use to the people from the 9 pavilions. The people from the 9 pavilions once again narrowed the encirclement. The veins on Baiming's forehead were bulging, but he did not have enough strength left. There was a gap between the use of secret arts. He could not help it all now. It was really detestable. The injuries of the dumb Meng Meng were getting more and more serious. Moreover, the nirvana fire of Xiao Hanyo had already been used up. The spiritual power of the nightmare beast had also been exhausted. Many of Xiao Moga's mycelium had also been broken. He Xinjiu had no choice but to put away Meng Yanshou. She gritted her teeth and was about to use the kitchen knife to force her neck to make way for those people when the 5 puppets turned to look at her. He Xinjiu's heart inexplicably trembled. What were they going to do? Puppet number 1, puppet number 2, and puppet number 3 suddenly rushed into the crowd in front of them, and then a loud explosion sounded. Puppet number 4 and puppet number 5 carried Yun Chujio and Baiming and rushed out of the crowd in the chaos. He Xinjia's spiritual sense was stifled. She knew that puppet number 1, puppet number 2, and puppet number 3 were all dead. They were completely dead. They used self-destruction to fight for her chance to live. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Yun Chujia's eyes were filled with boiling hot tears. Although these puppets were separated from her soul consciousness, they already had a preliminary intelligence. In a sense, they were already a new life. Yun Chujia's chest was filled with hatred. She hated Lan Luchen's ruthlessness and her own weakness. However, she did not hate fate. She firmly believed that as long as she had a strong heart, as long as she worked hard enough, she would be able to overcome all difficulties, including the trials of fate. He Xinjiu wiped her tears. She would not let puppet number 1, puppet number 2, and puppet number 3 die in vain. She would definitely take revenge. Puppet number 4 and puppet number 5 were very fast. They carried Yun Chujio and Baiming and ran into the depths of the valley. The people from the 9-layered pavilion did not catch up. As puppet number 1, puppet number 2, and puppet number 3 were caused by 1,000-year-old black iron, the power of the self-explosion was extremely great. More than half of the people from the 9-layered pavilion were killed and injured. Even Deputy Hall Master Meng suffered serious internal injuries. Tower Master Luochen had already returned to the 9 pavilions. After receiving the voice transmission talisman from Deputy Hall Master Meng, he was certain that the young man and woman were Baiming and Yun Chujio. His expression was extremely gloomy. Only little Jio could create puppets with intelligence. Those two must be Baiming and little Jio. However, why did they suddenly become smaller? If it was not because he could not get away, he would definitely go personally. It was not a big deal if he did not bring little Jio over. After all, he was still young. Rashly bringing little Jio back to the 9 pavilions might not be good for her. However, that Baiming must die. Whether it was because of little Jio or other reasons, this person couldn't live. He was already so powerful now. In time, he would definitely become a thorn in his side. Thinking of this, Tower Master Luochen gathered thousands of people around and gave them their lives. They must kill Baiming. Although the 2 puppets had some intelligence, it was limited after all. They ran aimlessly and only knew to keep running forward. He Xinjiu let the puppets put her down after a while and added some supreme-grade spirit stones into their puppet plates. Just when she was about to discuss the next step with Baiming, she suddenly realized that Baiming's face was as pale as a sheet. Only then did she realize that Baiming's back was full of blood. This is... Yun Chujia's words stopped abruptly because she remembered that during the fight, Baiming had once pulled her back. At that time, she did not pay too much attention to it. It was probably that time that Baiming blocked the spiritual attack for her, this idiot. Yun Chujio cursed while feeding Baiming the pill to stop the bleeding. She cursed in her heart. The pretty boy had vomited blood and was injured these days. He was really unlucky. Although he had taken the pill, Baiming's face was still very pale. Yun Chujio's heart tightened. Did the cold poison attack you, or was it the aftereffects of using the secret art? Baiming said casually, the latter. He Xinjiu was so angry that she was twitching. You know the consequences of using the secret technique are so severe, yet you still use it. If you tell me the consequences are so severe, I will think of another way to leave Chaoyan sect. Di Baiming glanced at her. Another way? What other way can you think of? Do you still expect Lan Luochen to save you? Yun Chujio heard Di Baiming mention Lan Luochen and hatred appeared on her face. Don't mention that ingrate. I thought he was a good friend. I didn't expect him to be such a heartless person. Occasionally missing content, please report errors in time. Di Baiming pursed his lips and did not reply. He had warned her before that Lan Luochen was not easy to get along with. Now, she finally believed him. Yun Chujio cursed for a while and then said, "Those people will definitely not let this go. Let's hurry up and leave this place." Yun Chujio summoned puppet number 4 and let it carry Di Baiming and follow behind her. When the sky was getting brighter, she saw the entrance of the valley from afar. Yun Chujio could not help but feel happy. As long as she was out of the valley, she could use her flying spirit tool. Moreover, she could also summon the shadow-skimming giant winged bird. Although the spiritual power of these demonic birds was not as high as that of the people from the 9 pavilions, they could still act as a hindrance in the air. The smile on Yun Chujio's face soon disappeared because many people from the 9 pavilions suddenly appeared at the entrance of the valley. At a glance, there were hundreds of them. Yun Chujio was about to return to the valley when Vice Hall Master Meng caught up with her with hundreds of people. Yun Chujio's eyes flashed with determination as she placed the large kitchen knife on her neck. She said coldly, "Let us out immediately, or I will commit suicide." Di Baiming glanced at her. He knew this fellow too well. He knew that she was trying to scare him, so he did not say anything. The people of the 9 pavilions did not know this fellow's character. They thought that she was really going to commit suicide, so they immediately became numb. The pavilion master had specially emphasized that they had to protect this little girl's life. It was best that she did not suffer any injuries. What should they do now? Deputy Pavilion Master Meng had no choice but to take out Tower Master Luchen's voice transmission talisman. However, he realized that the voice transmission talisman could not be sent out. He was so anxious that he gritted his teeth. This was going to kill him. He thought for a moment. Xingyu had always been by the Tower Master's side. Coincidentally, when he arrived, Xingyu had given him her voice transmission talisman, saying that he could contact her if there was an urgent matter. Thus, Deputy Hall Master Meng gave Xingyu a voice transmission talisman and briefly explained what had happened. Very soon, Xingyu's voice transmission talisman began to tremble. Deputy Hall Master Meng, there is no way to use the talisman where the Tower Master is. Before he left, he had instructed that if that Lin Chuchu is really stubborn, there is no need to care about her life or death. We can just kill her together. Although Deputy Hall Master Meng was a little suspicious after hearing Xingyu's words, he thought that although Xingyu was a maid, her position in the 9 pavilions was extraordinary. Since she said so, it should be the Hall Master's intention. Speaking of which, that little girl's looks were average, and her origin was unknown. Killing her was not a big deal. Thinking of this, Deputy Hall Master Meng sneered at Yun Chujio. Our Hall Master said that if you're sensible, well, spare your life. Since you're so stubborn, well, just kill you. If you kill yourself, it will save us a lot of trouble. Yun Chujio, fuck, this is awkward. She thought that she could use suicide as a threat. After a long time, people were waiting for her to die. It was useless to say anything now. This guy would not really kill himself. The only thing he could count on now was the Great Void Mirror, but there was still no movement. Deputy Hall Master Meng did not have the patience to stare at Yun Chujio. With a wave of his hand, everyone charged towards Di Baiming and Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio had no choice but to release De Hua and the dumb-witted children. After a few hours of rest, the dumb-witted children had already recovered a little. They used all their strength to resist the endless spiritual attacks. However, this was just like the small candle and the sun. A weak force could not be compared to the strength of nearly 1,000 people from the 9 pavilions. In the blink of an eye, the dumb-witted children were heavily injured. De Hua, who had always been successful, could not gain any advantage at all. She could not even hold on for more than 10 breaths before she was shattered. Yun Chujio could only release De Hua continuously. Her spiritual power was quickly depleted. Yun Chujio threw out all the talismans and things that could be used in her storage ring. However, in the eyes of the thousands of people from the 9 pavilions, these things were just like child's play. There was no way to harm them at all. Compared to Di Baiming, Yun Chujio's condition was better. After all, she did not have an old illness. Di Baiming had already lost his body due to using a secret technique. Furthermore, he was severely injured previously. Moreover, he could not use his spiritual power rashly. Hence, his white clothes were dyed red very quickly. Di Baiming looked at Yun Chujio, who was struggling. A trace of ruthlessness flashed in his eyes. He took out a small piece of bone from the storage ring and dripped his blood on it. The small piece of bone turned into an afterimage and entered between Di Baiming's brows. Di Baiming's pale face instantly faded and his black hair turned as white as snow. With a wave of his hand, a huge ice dragon pounced towards the people from the 9 pavilions. The ice dragon seemed to have entered an uninhabited land. It was as though it was slaughtering cows and dogs. The screams of the people from the 9 pavilions rose and fell. Di Baiming's aura was as cold as 10,000-year-old ice, and his eyes were bone-chilling, full of killing intent. Vice Hall Master Meng was greatly shocked. He had heard from his fellow disciples of Chaotian sect that this man was very powerful, and he had thought that it was an exaggeration. But now, he could see that this man was a mortal killer. Seeing the people around him dying one after another, he couldn't help but feel his legs go weak. He gritted his teeth and ran away. Pan, DN0VE1, C, M. When the people from the 9 pavilions saw that the leader had left, they naturally wouldn't be foolish enough to wait here for death. Hence, they also followed Vice Hall Master Meng and ran away. Yun Chujio didn't have the mood to bother with Vice Hall Master Meng and the others. Her heart was in her throat. She knew that Di Baiming had used another secret art, and it was even forcefully used. She didn't dare to imagine the consequences. Just as she was about to ask Di Baiming, she saw Di Baiming spit out a mouthful of blood. His eyes were tightly shut as he fell to the ground. Yun Chujio quickly went forward to catch him. She cut a wound on her arm and dripped the blood into Di Baiming's mouth. However, Di Baiming had already lost consciousness. Blood dripped down from the corner of his mouth. Yun Chujio simply sucked a mouthful of her own blood and kissed Di Baiming's lips, feeding the blood bit by bit. Only when Di Baiming's pulse became slightly stronger did Yun Chujio let puppet number 4 carry Di Baiming out of the valley. Yun Chujio summoned her flying spirit tool and sped away. 3 days passed in a row. Yun Chujio fed Di Baiming her own blood every day. Di Baiming still did not wake up, but fortunately his pulse became stronger and stronger. Finally, on the morning of the 4th day, Di Baiming opened his eyes. He saw Yun Chujio kneeling beside his bed. There were still tears at the corner of her eyes. He could not help but feel suffocated. In an instant he felt pain in his limbs and bones. He knew that the seal of 7 emotions and 6 desires had loosened again. He could only calm himself down and sigh silently in his heart. He had used the secret technique twice in a row, especially the last time. It was completely forced. As a result, his body had suffered too much damage. He could only find a few precious herbs to recover. Otherwise, he would not be able to recover for a while. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.